It's Street Fighter time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today I'm going to have a look at the SH Figuarts Street Fighter number 5 Gouki, or Akuma. Let's call him Akuma. I've never been a fan of Gouki. Even though that is his original Japanese name, but most of us know him as Akuma if you're familiar with the English language, that is, of course. This is just called Street Fighter, and I like that because it's not the awful Street Fighter 5 design, which we had with Storm Collectibles, which was a great figure. Just unfortunately, the design was not. I mean, I'm just not a fan of Lion King Akuma. I'm sorry, but here we got the classic one, and I'm much happier with that already. But let's see how good the figure really is. So this guy is weird, and unfortunately I do not mean that in a good way. But before we even go on, I want to have a look at size real quick. He stands at about 17.5 centimeters, really to the top of his hair, which means 7 inches. If we're going to the top of his head, that's 16.5 centimeters, a little over 6.5 inches, 6-7 I'd say. To give you an overlook of the figure, I mean, here's the deal, guys. First and foremost, we have some issues in the leg. This is a quality control issue, but why is there some metallic gray on there? Like, really shiny. This is... I don't know where it's coming from. Like, there is no gray anywhere, and there's like small spots all throughout the body. So I'm really lucky to have that, I guess. Yay. Okay, Figuarts shading recently has been either there hasn't been any shading at all, or there's just been weird shading. So overall, there's some shading on the muscles around here. That's cool, but then there's none in the chest, which makes it look super weird. Actually, the chest, I mean, it seems a little bit off, and he's also kind of shiny. Overall, he just looks super plasticky to me, which doesn't give off a good vibe overall, especially for like the evil dark guy that Akuma is supposed to be. He doesn't look menacing. He's just, I don't know. Then there's some shading over here in the legs and a little bit here and there in the gi, but once again, it's just kind of spread all over the place and it doesn't really make much sense to me. Speaking of not looking menacing enough, I mean, okay, the mold of the face is actually pretty damn good. I really would have liked some dark around the eyes. I mean, that's his entire thing. You got the shiny red eyes and it's all dark around it. So no shading in the face where it really would have been appreciated. On the flip side though, the hair is very nicely sculpted. I mean, look at all the detail going on in there, and it seems like there's also a little bit of color variation. His necklace is just plastic. Yeah, it's just one solid piece of plastic. It's not real beads. It's just, man, come on, how hard is it to make some real beads? They made it with soda all these years ago, and I think, don't quote me on that, but I think the Storm Collectibles also has real beads, so there you go with that. But hey guys, if I'm sounding a little bit too negative for your taste right now, Akuma is one of my favorite characters. He is my favorite character from Street Fighter, so I'm really having this under a microscope. The muscles are super nicely molded, and he does look super bulky, so once again, that is accurate, that is nicely done. And I mean, it's not all bad, it's just like there's a lot of flaws that just kind of jump right at you once I took him out of the packaging. This is also nicely molded, rotates around. This is floaty over here, soft plastic, also looking good, and there's some nice wrinkles going on all throughout the gi. And overall, I mean, there's not really anything I can complain about. With the mold, he has the big feet and the rope around the fists. That's all very nicely detailed and just well done with that. If we could just get that shading right. Now for the articulation, it's kind of the same thing. It's their fighting body mold, which has some very good parts and some meh parts. So first of all, the head. So that's okay. It doesn't really have that much room, but like I'm saying, okay. Goes out to the side a little bit, and then obviously goes all the way around. Then the neck has actually some very good motion. Doesn't really have, has a little bit of a gap. Can't really see it thanks to the necklace, so there we go with that. You have a butterfly joint in the chest to bring out shoulder, which is actually also very nicely molded over here, like really muscly. It's not just a flat piece. And inside we got a ball joint with a hinge that packs into the chest and then packs into the bicep over here. So you can bring that up and down and off, apparently. Alright, did not plan on that, but Let's see, up doesn't really go up that much. Let me try it out before it even breaks off again. But you can also rotate it around and have a little bit of a bicep swivel. Not really that much, but it still works. And for the elbow, that's one of the fighting body parts I'm not the biggest fan of, but you can rotate this around and you can bring it up and down. And you always have this elbow pad over here which rotates around. And in some situations this looks very dumb, so there you go with that. And then with the fist classic stuff, you have the ball joint in there. And you can bring that up and down, and you can bring it all the way around. Nothing too fancy there. By the way, the entire gi is soft plastic. I said just this part is soft plastic, but no, actually the entire upper part also is soft, so it doesn't get into the way of your chest articulation. I'm trying to just rotate the chest around, but the torso is kind of rotating with it. You get some back and forward motion, goes side to side, and then wiggles around at the torso, and then his head just kind of randomly falls off. Okay, then we got the legs, goes up very nicely, get some nice kicking poses, tatsumakis, and all that jazz. Goes out to the side, and this is my favorite leg joint for SH Figuarts. I don't know why they don't put that on more figures. Goes out to the back, and I mean, it gets good motion. This looks somewhat wonky, but it's better than having a hole in there. So, and it also rotates around over here. Then we get to the knees. I have the big ball joint in there. I mean, it's okay. Goes back, and the foot have the big hinge. As you can tell, that's kind of weird. Did they also have one with Ryu like that? Leaves a big gap. Get some good articulation. Pick your poison. You want good articulation, or you want a more proper look. Well, and he's falling apart. His arm is just falling off. His head has fallen off, his entire arm has fallen off, and now his elbow is falling off. So yeah, there you go with that, and also swivels to the side, actually swivels all the way around. This is crazy, and has a toe hinge. But yeah, what's up with that? Now for the accessories. First of all, you have two more faces, one angry gritting teeth, and just another one looking to the side. Nicely done, not really an issue there. Then we have some more posing hands. These also look very good if he's launching into battle, and of course your Hadoken or Gohado, whatever he calls it. And of course he has a Gohado, purplish pink. It is accurate, so I'm not knocking that. It looks good also. I like it. It's some nice see-through, a little bit of white at the top, and very nicely molded. And he does have something to hold it also, just like one of these little display stands. Nothing too fancy. I don't really get though why it doesn't end on the ball pack, so you could kind of rotate it around, and I have no idea where to pack it in actually. There we go. I'm just kind of seeing a little bit of a problem with that. Is he supposed to shoot it out his dick? I mean, yeah, if you're putting him in like a more crouching pose or something, this should be a little bit higher. I don't, hold on, does he not go like in a more crouching pose when he's firing these off? It could be okay, it just seemed kind of weird. I put it up and I had him standing off camera and I was like, wait, that kind of looks like a little short. And he does also come with a piece of paper with a card basically of his background stage, which is super bent, just kind of threw into his box, and I don't know, I don't really care for it. It's just a piece of paper, it's just a background. So before we end it, I just want to have a little side by side with Ryu, and actually it's like Ryu's feet are very small, and that was one of the things I noticed with Akuma, but I was like, oh, well, in Street Fighter in general, since Street Fighter 4, the proportions are a little bit more like, yeah, no, they have bigger feet and they have bigger fists. But with Ryu, that's really not the case. I mean, just look at that. Holy crap. I mean, okay. It's good I had this side by side. He looks a little bit more realistic now looking back on it. It's probably why I didn't like this figure so much at the beginning. I mean, it's still a good figure, but we're not talking about Ryu right now. We're talking about this guy right now. So that's gonna bring me to the final thoughts. What do I think about this Akuma? And I gotta tell you guys, this is a tough one, alright? I cannot give you a 100% yes or no. On one side, he looks good, the articulation is good. But the problems with the shading, the super shiny, plasticky look, is really putting me off. The bad necklace, it's just like, and you really just kind of have to stick that under there. You see it's floating around and it's getting on my nerves, and this arm keeps disconnecting, and then there's a quality control issue over here, which isn't really, you know, I try to not talk too much about that for a review, because that's just like, haha, I got screwed. Guys, Storm Collectibles Akuma is way better, even though the design, I'm not a fan of it, but if you're struggling to choose between Storm and this one, I say take the Storm. But if you're really just more into SH Figuarts and you think this guy looks good, and you're not being put off by the lack of shading and his arm just falling off like that, I just need to pull lightly on it and there it goes. So yeah, that's dumb, and that's happened a lot. I'm telling you, that's happened like 5 or 6 times off camera, for the record. And I wanted to do that one more time to show you his arm is so easy to disconnect. It doesn't break, but it will fall off probably at least 2 or 3 times when you're trying to get him into pose, and that's not fun. That's gonna do it as usual, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, feel free to hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, gameplay stuff, and whatever Akuma wants. Messatsu.